Good day, viewer. My name is Mr. Boniface Akarome, a biology teacher in Nigeria Tulip International Colleges. I'm here to give solution to JAMB Biology 2030. Happy viewing. Now let's go to the first question. Here, question number 1. Which of the following is the simplest living organism? From the question, here you see that the emphasis here is simplest living organism. And here we are talking about microorganisms, organisms that are too tiny to be seen with the naked eye. And you look at the board, all these other ones, they are there. You have a paramecium, which is a protozoa. We have the virus, we have an amoeba, we have the chlamydomonas. But if you look at all the options here, you see that the correct answer here is the virus. The correct answer here is the virus. And why do we pick the virus? Because the virus is too tiny to be seen even with the normal microscope, except you use a highly sophisticated microscope, which is the electron microscope. And we know bacteria are so small, so tiny also, but the viruses are simpler and smaller than the bacteria. That's why the virus can pass through a bacterial filter. Now we go to question number 2. Question number 2. From the picture you see on the board, you can see the picture here, which shows an earthworm. And the question that follows says, the structure label 2 is the, and you look at the diagram, here we have the label 1 just coming from a segment. We have the label 2, and you have the label 1 from the tip. You have label 2 here, and you have the label 3. Now, the structure label 2 here, which you have here, is the clitellum. The clitellum. And this clitellum is the part that secretes the cocoons. The cocoons are secreted by the clitellum. So the answer here is, the answer to the question is the clitellum. Now we go to the next question. The organism is found in the soil rich in, usually this is an earthworm. You cannot see an earthworm in a dry surface, on a dry ground or in a dry soil. You cannot see them in a sandy soil. You can only see earthworm in a place where you have a humus. That is where you found them mostly. So they thrive, they do well in the soil that is made up of humus. So therefore, option A is the answer to this question. Let's go to the next question. That's question number 3. Question number 4. Proboscis is a structure that is mostly found in proboscis. So the emphasis is the proboscis. Where do we have the proboscis? Which of the organisms in the option? So emphasis is on this. And now from the diagram, you can see the part referred to as the proboscis. That's the part labeled P. In the mollusca, you don't have proboscis. In amphibians, it's not there. In tapeworm, it's not there. The only organism here in this option where you can see proboscis are the insects. The insects, they have the proboscis. So the option D is the answer to the question. So we move to the next. The next, question number 5. An example of a parasitic protozoa. Parasitic protozoa. That means there are different kinds of protozoa. Now, the emphasis here is on parasitic protozoa. Parasitic protozoa. The first place, what do we mean by parasites? Parasites are those organisms that live on another organism, derive their nutrients from that other organism, which is a host, and at the same time cause harm to the organism, that's their host. Now, here we have the option A, Plasmodium, we have Euglena, we have Chlamydomonas, and we have Paramecium. From the diagram, you see what you have here are the pictures of Plasmodium in the bloodstream. Therefore, Plasmodium is a parasitic protozoa, which is usually transmitted by female Anopheles mosquito. We go to the next question. Question number 6. Fungi are referred to as heterotrophs because they, number 1, lack chlorophyll. That's A, they lack chlorophyll. B, have mycelium. C, lack roots. D, are filamentous. Now, emphasis is on heterotroph. And what do we mean by heterotroph? You know, we have different kinds of mode of feeding, but there are two major divisions. You have the autotroph. Those are the ones that can manufacture their own food based on the presence of chlorophyll. And you also have those that can synthesize their food chemically, like the chemosynthetic one. But here, when we talk about heterotroph, they are the ones that cannot produce their own food. Rather, they depend on already made food. And now, here, fungi is one of those organisms that cannot produce their own food. Rather, they depend on already made food. Why? Because they lack the pigment chlorophyll. Because of the absence of the pigment chlorophyll. Therefore, they cannot produce their own food. So the answer to this question is lack of chlorophyll. Option A, they lack chlorophyll. Next, question number 7. The organ which is sensitive to light in Euglena is the A, flagellum, B, chloroplast, C, eye spot, D, gullet. Now, from the options so far you have on the board, you have flagellum. It cannot be used for as light-sensitive organ. Look at the diagram here. Where do you have flagellum? Look at flagellum. That's an organ of movement in Euglena. Then you have the chloroplast also from the diagram. The picture, you can also see the chloroplast with the green pigment, which help the Euglena to also manufacture its food if it's going to feed autotrophically. Then we have option C. That's here you have that's the eye spot. The eye spot, look at it here, eye spot or the stigma. Is that eye spot that is actually the one sensitive to light. Then you have the gullet. The gullet also is where the food passes into the body, the cell. Then here you have the eye spot. Option C. Option C, eye spot, is the answer to this question. Is a part of Euglena that is sensitive to light. It helps the Euglena to move towards the presence of the sunlight or move away from the presence of sunlight. We'll move to the next question. Question number 8. The chitin in the exoskeleton of many arthropods is strengthened by, you have A, protein, B, you have calcium compounds, C, you have organic, then D, you have salt lipid. Now, the emphasis now will be from the term exoskeleton. The exoskeleton is strengthened by what in arthropod? Exoskeleton is the type of skeleton that is found in the outer part of the body of those organisms that possess them. Now the question is, how are these exoskeleton, that's the chitin, how are they strengthened? The correct option here is A, protein. That the exoskeleton of the chitin in the exoskeleton of arthropods are strengthened by protein, that's proteinous material. Although you have the calcium carbonate also present there, but the immediate strengthening is made by the protein there. Then we have, which of the following describe, that question 9, which of the following describe a characteristics of arthropod? The characteristics of arthropod. A, the organism has a pair of jointed appendages. B, the body is not divided into a number of segments. C, the body is covered with chitin. D, the organism find it easy to grow freely. Now, here the question is, which of the following describe a characteristics of arthropod? Let's take it one by one again. The organism has a pair of jointed appendages. From the picture, you can see all these are arthropods. You can see that each of them here has more than a pair of appendages. They have more than a pair of appendages. Then the body is not divided into a number of segments. You see that in one of the characteristics of arthropods are the segmented body, that their bodies are divided into segments. Then C, the body is covered with chitin. The correct answer here is that the body is covered with chitin. We move to the next question, question number 10. Which of these organisms partly digests its food extracellularly? A, housefly, B, cockroach, C, termite, D, mosquito. Now, from the picture, you have the picture of food sample with a housefly perching on it. Now, what happened here is that the housefly will first of all release solvent, fluid solvent, to dissolve the food material, the food content, before they begin to take it in. So the answer to this question here is the housefly. That's option A, the housefly. Let's move to the next. Question number 11. Plants that have special devices for trapping and digesting insects are A, symbiotic, B, parasitic, C, saprophytic, and D, carnivorous plants. Special devices for trapping and digesting insects. An example of such plant is what you have on the board here. You have the pitcher plant and the Venus fly trap. These are carnivorous plants that have special devices for catching and digesting insects, and they are referred to as carnivorous plants. So the answer to this question is D, carnivorous plants. Symbiotic, that's feeding relationship between two organisms. And you have parasitic, one organism live on another one, get nourishment, and at the same time harm the other. That's the parasite and the host relationship. Then you have saprophytic, those organisms that feed on dead, decaying organic matter. So see, we have carnivorous plants. They catch insects, digest them, and extract nitrogen from them. They are usually found in a place where they have a nitrogen deficiency. We move to the next question. Question number 12. And look, the question says, Tinian can be found in A, goat, D, dog, C, pig, D, cow. Example of such Tinian is on the board. That's the pork tapeworm. There's another type that is called the Tinian saginata. But this very one, Tinian is found in pig. So where you have them, you see them in pig. The Tinian is found in pig. So we move to the next question. Question number 13. Tropical diseases caused by trypanosome is A, you have the river blindness. B, we have the yellow fever. C, malaria. D, sleepy sickness. We have different vectors for this very disease. Vectors for the disease you have in this option. You have the river blindness. You have the onchocerca volvulus. You have the yellow fever, where you have the Aedes mosquito. And we have the malaria, which is caused by the vector of this malaria is the female Anopheles mosquito that carries the Plasmodium species. Then here we have the option D, sleepy sickness, which is also referred to as the trypanosomiasis. So this trypanosomiasis is caused by, the sleepy sickness is caused by trypanosome. So the correct option here is D, sleepy sickness, also known as trypanosomiasis. And the vector for the disease is tsetse fly. Next question is question 14. Which of the following is caused by Treponema pallidum? Treponema pallidum is bacteria, a particular species of bacteria. And they are the causative agent of, look at the options in the board. A, leprosy. B, tuberculosis. C, syphilis. D, gonorrhea. The correct answer here in this option is option C, syphilis. Treponema pallidum is the causative agent of the disease syphilis. We move to the next question. Question number 15. A pollutant that is biodegradable is A, heavy metal. B, cellophane. C, sewage. D, crude oil. Now, the emphasis here is biodegradable. Biodegradable, that is where we have our emphasis. You have the heavy metals, those broken metals found on the surface of the earth, the cellophane, nylon, and all those things you also see on the surface of the soil. Then we have sewage. Sewage are liquid domestic waste, maybe from the toilet, from the bathroom and the rest, while you have the crude oil from leaky diesel engine. But here, the word biodegradable, the ones that can be degraded by organism, by probably microorganism, and that is the sewage. So the correct answer here is option C, the sewage. Next question. Question number 16. The plants that grow in desert or very dry area are referred to as A, hydrophytes, B, epiphytes, C, xerophytes, D, mesophytes. Plant growing in dry area where there is no enough supply of water. Here you have hydrophytes. Those are the ones that grow in water-rich area. You have the epiphytes, those that you see growing, relaxing or supporting themselves with other plants. Then you have the mesophytes, the ones growing in area not too waterlogged and not too dry. Therefore, the correct answer to this question is the xerophytes. The xerophytes are those plants that are found or that grow in area where you don't have enough water, like the desert. Example is the cactus plant. Next question. Question number 70. Movement of the minerals and chemical compound within a plant occur during A, translocation, B, transpiration, C, diffusion, D, osmosis. When you look at the four options, you see that they all involve the movement of substances. The transpiration here is the movement of water out of the plant, the leaf of plant. That's the evaporation of water from the plant to the atmosphere. Then you have diffusion, movement of materials from the region of higher concentration to that of lower concentration. Then you have osmosis, the movement of solvent across semi-permeable membrane. And the solvent usually is water, liquid substance. Now, here you have translocation. Translocation is a term that is used to describe the movement of manufactured food in plant to the point where they are being manufactured to where they will be stored or where they will be used up. Now, these manufactured food are in form of chemical compounds in plant. Therefore, the correct answer to this question is translocation. Next question. Question number 18. And the question is, the organelles present in cells that are actively respiring and photosynthesizing are, you have option A, Golgi apparatus and endoplasmic reticulum. Option B, nucleus and centrioles. Option C, mitochondria and chloroplast. Option D, lysosomes and ribosome. Option A, Golgi apparatus and endoplasmic reticulum. They are involved in transportation and packaging of materials in the cell. We have nucleus. Nucleus controls the activity of the entire cell. Centrioles involved in cell division. Then we have mitochondria. This is the center for respiration that help in producing energy. And we have chloroplast. Chloroplast is a part of green plant that help in photosynthesis. You have lysosomes that break down unwanted materials in the cell. You have ribosome for protein synthesis. Therefore, option C, mitochondria and chloroplast is the answer. Option C is the answer to the question. Mitochondria for respiration, while chloroplast for photosynthesis. Go to next question. Question number 19. The process of transforming the chemical energy of cellular fluid into high energy bonds of ATP in plant is A. Photosynthesis, B. Photolysis, C. Respiration, D. Autotrophy. A is photosynthesis, that's how the food is produced in plant, the process in which the food is produced in plant. B is one of the processes also involved, the photolysis of water, the splitting of water molecule during photosynthesis. Respiration is the breaking down of the food substances in the cell to produce energy in form of ATP. Autotrophic nutrition or autotroph is a way by which organisms produce its own food. Therefore, in this question, option C is the answer to the question. It's only respiration that helped in producing ATP in both plants and animals. The next question, question number 20. During the manufacture of food by plants, which of the following organisms use energy from the sun? Now, look at other organisms here. You have the Anabaena, that's option A. B, sulfur bacteria. C, nitrosomonas species. Then D, nitrobacter. All these A, B, C, D, sulfur bacteria, nitrosomonas, and nitrobacter, they are the group that are classified under those that synthesize their food chemically. That's under chemosynthesis. But we have the Anabaena, due to the fact that it contains or possesses green pigmentation, like what you can see in the picture here. This is a picture of an Anabaena, the chain form of Anabaena with green pigmentation. And therefore, because of the green pigmentation, they are able to manufacture or synthesize their food with the use of sunlight or with the sunlight energy. So option A is the answer to this question.